Every good shot should add up to 100. So 100 is a nice round, even number.
Yeah.
So you go 50% back, 50% through, right? That would be even, back and through. A lot of people go like 80 back and 90 through. That's 170. Or they'll go 70 or 80 back, and then inside they're going, oh no, uh-oh. And then they decelerate, they go slow, and then they have like 10 or 20 or 30% through. It's a good question to ask yourself, what did I do on that swing? But here's the way I teach acceleration. How about 45 back, 50 through? Did that swing add up to 100? Yeah, it did. I went back, and then I went boom, through. Same with a putt. Take it back, come through. And they're matched up with a little bit more on the follow-through side. Right. So now you automatically have acceleration without having gone fast, which sucks you into this false idea of power.
Hi, this is Paul Cultivate from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I play various courses about an hour's drive outside of the city. This is Golf Smarter number 821.
This episode is brought to you by calderalab.com/golfsmarter. For the holidays, they're offering their biggest sale ever to Golf Smarter listeners. You get 30% off with the coupon code GolfSmarter on your first order. Again, go to calderalab.com/golfsmarter and use the code GolfSmarter at checkout. Now, a quick note about today's episode featuring Jamie Zimron, our golf sensei. Jamie and I played together recently here in Northern California and sat down after our round to record this episode. Unfortunately, my portable recorder drains batteries faster than any piece of gear I've ever owned. Probably need to go deeper into the settings to figure that one out. But anyway, both halves of this episode end abruptly in Jamie's mid-sentence. So when you hear her end abruptly, you'll know why. Dead batteries. Here we go. Every good golf shot should add up to 100. An in-person post-round conversation with Jamie Zimron.
This is Golf Smarter, sharing stories, tips, and insights from great golf minds to help you lower your score and raise your golf IQ. Here's your host, Fred Green.
Welcome back to the Golf Smarter Podcast, Jamie.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be with you, Fred, and I love playing golf with you.
Well, that's the story here. We just finished a round of golf at Foxtail North in Rohnert Park, California. It's November, and we got to play golf. It's late November, but we were playing in what we thought was fog that never really lifted. It kind of just, the back nine was wet.
It's a downpour of mist.
Yeah, it really was a downpour of mist. It didn't rain ever, but it was just misty and moist and
dripping off the bills of our visors and hats.
Yeah, exactly, which wasn't tons of fun, but we got to play golf, and that was tons of fun, and it's November and we're playing golf. And we've played golf before, but it was years ago since we played golf. And interestingly, back in episode 800, I was interviewed because the listeners were like, let's see what you've learned about your game. Well, I really didn't talk about my game that much. I talked about myself more. But now that you've been around since episode like 100 or something, like you've been with me on this for
many years, you've actually seen a transformation. You get to report back, how's my game? I think this episode should be about Fred Green's golf game. I was so impressed. I didn't stop remarking. 18 holes worth.
But I'm not done. Keep going.
Yeah, you're glowing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, listeners, I'm not doing this just to stroke his ego. He has improved so much. I really hardly recognized you out there. I don't remember you being such a fine golfer.
Wow.
And
I don't know if fine would be the word I'd use, but
I would use that word.
Wow.
Absolutely. You were swinging in tempo and rhythm. Golf swing looks great. Hitting beautiful shots, consistent. Every part of your game was in good shape. There were one or two holes. That's about it. Yeah?
Yeah.
I could hardly stay ahead of you, man.
Well, and also the conditions were, it rained overnight. Here we are in Northern California complaining about rain. No, we're not complaining about rain. We got some. The ground is wet. This is a great thing. Hopefully it'll not have more fires this year, but it's not a drought condition today. So
Well, the grass is green. The ball was not going that far. There was no roll.
No, the ball was
the air
heavy.
was heavy with all that mist and dew. And I don't remember you being such a good golfer. How's that for a compliment?
That's a great. You can tell we're out here by the practice range and sitting out in front of the pro shop. Thank you. And
Wait, so you've told me that your handicap, your index has dropped from about a 14.
when I started doing the podcast, I was more like an 18.
An 18, yeah, you're down to an 8. Now that's huge. Yeah. And no kidding, I mean, not that you weren't so great before, but you were just terrific today. I honestly, I don't remember you being such a good golfer. And what I understand is you've had over 400 professionals in all of these episodes, and you actually listen to them and you practice. And you set up a practice facility, shall we say, short game in your backyard,
right.
And you've been spending this pandemic practicing. I mean, I was kidding you. You've been cheating. You've been cheating by practicing.
But it
shows. It really, you're a transformed golfer. You don't see that much improvement that often. So I'm bowing to you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I've got my visor off.
It's interesting. Yes, I've spoken to over 400 golf professionals one way or another in these 800 plus episodes, but there are a few that leave a mark on me, and you are one of them. Because one of the things that I've worked really hard on is my balance. Because when I used to hit my driver, I would swing the club and take 4 or 5 steps off to the side because I would just be completely out of balance.
That was the only drive you didn't hit well today, was when you fell back and were kind of out of balance. Yeah. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I just asked a relatively new student of mine. I was in Palm Springs this past week, and I asked her, do you know why balance is important?
Great question.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you know why balance is important, Fred Green? Transformed golfer?
Well, it gives you, I'm just going to say no. Why is balance so important, Jamie Zimmerman?
In the first place, I think balance is the distinguishing difference between really excellent players, tour pros, and your average amateur golfer. You don't see on TV the pros falling off balance, falling backwards. They may get a tiny bit off plane here and there, but they are in balance all the time, right? And how often do you hear the announcer say, oh, he's posing, oh, she's posing, she likes it,
right.
He likes it, right?
Right.
So why is that so important? What does balance really give you? It gives you stability. Why is stability important? A couple items on that. One is, if you sway and if you move and if you lift, you're introducing so much variability into your swing. So now you've lost 2 vital things in golf. One is centered contact, and the other is consistency.
Define centered contact. Let's talk about that.
Centered contact, there is what we call a sweet spot on a golf club.
Right.
And it's actually an engineered area of the club between 2 vibrational nodes. And this is what all these golf R&D folks do, right? What's golf R&D, but they do it. And they're playing around with, where's the center of gravity and what kind of materials and what's kind of on the backside of the club and, what's the relative position of these 2 nodes and all. But when you hit that sweet spot, that center area, those 2 vibrational nodes vibrate in a harmonic, like on a guitar. Ping. That's why it was a great name for a golf company. And in fact, I talked to Karsten Solheim's son, John Solheim. Karsten founded the company.
Right.
And he was searching for a putter that would work, that would solve his putting woes. This was back in the 60s, right? And John told me that his dad came running in from the garage one day, his little experimental studio, right? And he said, I got it. It's like a tuning fork. Ding, ping. So when all that vibration has the harmonic, what that means is you've struck the sweet spot. And the sweet spot means that if that spot, strikes the golf ball, all the energy of your golf swing goes into the golf ball. And it goes in properly. What does that mean? You get the distance and the accuracy, the direction that you intend. The ball doesn't go spinning offline to the left or spinning offline to the right. That's it. And all the energy goes into the ball. It doesn't go reverb back into your hands and you're going like, ow!
Yeah, definitely had that.
Right? And those are the ones, they look good, they feel good, they sound good.
And that's critical.
Yum, yum, yeah? I call it the heart of the cinnamon roll.
Okay.
Right? My whole book about centering, okay? But no, really, it's like the heart of the cinnamon roll. It's the juiciest part. It's sweet. And so those shots are sweet. And we go, sweet, man, that was nice. Beautiful putt, sweet, nice shot. Yeah? Sweet spot. That harmonic has happened. Ping. And again, the energy is delivered into the ball properly. So here's my theory of better golf. You ready?
Yes, please.
You know I'm a martial artist, right?
Right.
6-degree black belt. Okay, so when you're centered, if I as the golfer am centered and I move in a properly centered sequential way, I will make centered contact with the ball. Centered plus centered ought to equal centered. Right. Centered contact. Most golfers make centered contact on a random basis. You can look at them on the golf course, you can look at them up and down the driving range, you kind of scrape a couple balls over there, you hit 2 good ones, then you hit 3 crappy ones, and then you hit another good one, and then you hit another couple bad ones, then you hit 4 in a row, you're like, man, I'm ready for the tour, and then you hit 3 crappy ones, right? So it's inconsistent. Random basis, same thing on the golf course, yeah? And when you lack balance, lack stability, and you lack that centeredness, okay? What happens is you miss centered contact. The club will not come down and make centered contact on the ball. However, if you're balanced, stable, grounded, you move in a proper sequence, which is from the bottom up. Feet, legs, hips. Not start with shoulders and hands. Everybody's so preoccupied with their shoulder turn and their hands, and they're even taught the body will follow. What it does, it follows and it goes off, and then follows and it goes forward. No, you want to be stable and centered. Turn around that center, okay? And then the club will come down in that center contact impact position. So if you think about this as a theory of how to lower your handicap, right? If you could up your percentage of centered shots from random to a consistent 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%. Now we're not going to bat 1,000, nobody does, but you can get well over 50, 60, 70% in golf, yeah? And when you miss, you're not going to hit it off the heel completely, you're not going to hit it off the toe completely. So what your misses are going to be maybe in the first cut of rough. They're not going to be, out of bounds, in the woods, out of bounds, in such massive trouble, way left and right, yeah? Same thing with putts. It's, same thing with your chips. So does that make sense? So centered plus centered equals centered, but that starts with you being centered. And when you get centered, you drop into your lower belly, right? Your hara, your tantian, what we call that in martial arts or in meditation. But when you drop into your belly, and I like to have this heavy feeling, like, not to mix sports metaphors, but like a bowling ball in your belly. Oh, let it land there. Your legs instantly engage, and you feel heavier, more solid, stronger, more athletic stance in your legs and feet. So when you get centered, you get grounded. A lot of people try to bend their knees, they go boom, 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 but they don't have a center. And so they're just bobbing up and down, and they still aren't grounded. That is something that it drives me nuts, and I go around and I go, no! That's sort of like, you know what I'm saying? They're bending their knees, and they still have no stability, and they still have no balance. But if you go boom, bowling ball in your belly, and solid in the legs and feet, and you strengthen those muscles, you get a strong base, and then you turn proper sequence and rotation around the center, balance out the back and the forward swing, centered contact. It's all about centered contact. I can tell you, going through all the years of LPGA training, golf training, et cetera, it's all about centered contact.
Great. Let's take a time out. We'll be back right after this. This episode is brought to you by Caldera Lab, makers of The Good. Don't know about you, but I've never been one to use my wife's skincare products. I always believed that her beautiful skin was hereditary. So as I aged and my face got drier and rougher, I just believed that was supposed to happen. I've always used an aloe-based aftershave, and because of playing golf a couple times each week, I use sunscreen too. But being in my 60s, it was just a given that I looked that way. Then I was introduced to The Good by Caldera Lab, and after only 1 ounce of using The Good each night after washing up before bed, my face looks healthier than ever before. All the Caldera Lab products are plant-based and scientifically proven. They believe in their products so much, as do I, that they're offering you a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee. If you don't see results, you'll get your money back. Want to see my results? There are before and after photos of me after just 1 ounce of nightly use of The Good at calderalab.com/golfsmarter. And here's some big news and another great reason for you to try The Good right now during this holiday season. They're offering Golf Smarter listeners 30% off your first order. That's their biggest sale of the year. Just go to calderalab.com and use discount code GolfSmarter, one word, at checkout. That's CALDERALAB, calderalab.com/golfsmarter, and use GolfSmarter at checkout right now for your 30% off on that first order. With centered contact, I mean, you can just hear it when you hit the ball. You just know. It's like, oh, that sounded great, right?
It's orgasmic.
But
let's face it,
haven't
it
they
is.
made-
You're like, that was so good.
But they have these, what they call, I guess, game improvement clubs with the cavity backs and stuff that's supposed to help you with that. But still, if you hit it off the toe, right, or you hit it off the heel, you're not going to get the distance or accuracy, right?
Exactly. And this is where golf improvement, I always say it's the putter, not the putter, right? It's the driver, not the driver. That means it's you.
Right.
And my first question actually to golfers is, what makes your golf ball go? If I teach a seminar, if I have a new student, what makes your golf ball go?
Centered contact.
No. Well, so what do people say? Well, because I hit it, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But, the
What answer are
swing,
you
the
looking
arc,
for?
my mind, the energy. They'll finally say the energy. Well, from where to where? Well, from the club to the ball. It's like, well, where'd the energy come from? So what makes your golf ball go is you. Yeah? You make your golf ball go. I mean, the same club, it depends who picks it up and what they do and when they swing it, right? And so then the next question is, who are you?
Right.
We're getting deep, all right? But and I actually have a practical answer to that.
Right.
Practical answer is, I am life energy in a body. They call it ki and chi, whatever. But you got this life energy, and this is universal. We've got life energy, right? When we die, it goes away. We stop breathing. No more energy in this body. Nothing's happening. When you get born, boom, all of a sudden, you're moving, you're thinking. So we have 4 faculties to our energy by which we experience and express this energy. They're called our mind, our body, our emotions, and our spirit. Okay? You gotta get those all working in harmony. And when you can get more masterful, I call it, or more consistent about delivering the energy from inside your body down through the club, make a swing, deliver it into the golf ball. That's what's making your golf ball go. So actually, every shot you make or every putt, you're looking at what you did. That golf ball is flying on the basis of your energy, right? And how you shaped yourself and delivered your energy in the golf ball. So this is why shape of your swing.
I had to move my seat over a little bit. The roof is leaking on me.
You're getting wet. You're getting double rain.
Yeah. Okay, go. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, but so it's just about, who's in charge of your energy? You are. And so I call this in business, I train business leaders a lot, I call it going beneath the bottom line in business. Because you can have your funding and your organizational development and your personnel and your strategic plans. You can have all your fulfillment, marketing, whatever, 1,000 parts. But it's beneath the bottom line. It's like, what's happening with you as the leader? What's happening with you as a team member, an employee here? And how's all that working together? Then you can execute. Same in golf. Everybody wants.
Well, we just took a break because a little technical difficulty. The battery died. and I just went and bought fresh batteries. I can't believe this. And I'm sure that you had this brilliant stuff that you were talking about, and I have no idea where it left off.
I was talking about the dramatic improvement in your golf game.
Well, thank
because you've been working on you, and you know, we work on ourselves through our golf game. We work on our golf game by improving ourselves, because it's really you, the golfer, that makes your golf ball go.
Right.
Not the clubs. Yeah.
Well,
You've got to implement and execute. You've got to cultivate. And what you've got to cultivate, that centerness, that balance, that clarity, that mind-body connection.
are we rotating around our spine? Is this where the center is? I mean, because there's a lot of people I see that they, they're leaning forward, they're leaning backward, their swing is all controlled by their upper body, but they're sliding all over the place, and they probably have severe back pains. I know that used to be a problem for me before I learned to try to rotate around the center. Right? Is that where we're going with?
Yeah, in many ways. If you think about it, here's the center, your spine. When you take your backswing, right, you're actually turning your weight and loading into the back leg. That doesn't mean you list over to the right. It means that you're balanced over your right side. And then you get back to center in the swing, and that's contact. And then your weight shifts to your left leg. You post up on your left leg. But you're balanced over your left side on the forward swing. You're balanced over the right side. The problem is when people lift and sway, and lift is upper body.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was like I lifted my head, right?
Yes.
I hear that a lot. Oh, I lifted my head. But did they really?
Well,
Or is
remember,
it
we played today with
a friend.
a friend, a newer golfer.
A new golfer, a mutual friend who picked up the game after he retired.
Yes.
And he's not the greatest physical condition, but he's fallen in love with the game.
Absolutely.
So I've been playing with him a bunch, but I'm very tolerant of his game.
What helped him today?
Is you asked him to slow it all down, and all of a sudden he started making contact.
Exactly. So he doesn't understand the true sources of power. And he has kind of the misunderstanding, the very common misunderstanding that most people in our culture have, and especially male people, if you don't mind my saying so. And the understanding of power they have is this upper body, try to hit it as hard as you can, and fast and hard, I'm going to hit it. And because he doesn't know anything else. Right. Our power comes up from the ground through our legs and feet in proper sequence, and having a relaxed upper body on top of a solid lower body, starting with the lower body. When you build a building, you got to build the basement and the first story. There's no second story, which would be your upper body. There's no arms, right, without the second story, without the first story. You look at a tree. We're like a tree. Our torso and our whole, main part of our body and down through our legs and feet, that's the trunk of the tree. And we call it our trunk, right? The trunk of the body. So we're like the tree trunk, and then we have like roots into the ground through our feet. And then you get branches and leaves. There's no branches and leaves without the tree. And the knowledge, the information is encoded in the tree and in the trunk and in the roots. And then, okay, we got to grow some arms and leaves. So, but that's our arms and our hands. They don't know where to go. They don't know whether they're inside or outside or upright or over here or over there. You go like this, turning with your body and from the feet. And I teach from instep to instep. And Jack Nicklaus actually said golf is played from the arches of your feet, between the arches of your feet. Right. That's the insteps, in a real practical way. And then, instep of your feet, left foot starts turning these hips, and then the upper body rotates on top of that, and then shoulders. Come down. Every sport, especially throw the ball sport, and I consider golf a throw the ball sport, not a hit the ball sport.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Hit the ball is like, trying to hit it with your arms. Throw the ball, right instep, knee turns to left hip, and then that powers the arm. And if you watch a baseball player, they lift their leg, and then they put it down, they plant, then they get that balance, and then they push off the back foot, and then it engages their hips, gives it, all that power for a home run. A pitcher, how are you going to throw a ball 900 miles an hour? Leg kick, and then they push off the back foot, right? That's on the mound, and then it powers the arm. Tennis, a forehand starts in the feet, foot, hips, then arm, racket, ball, hand, racket to the ball. So same with golf. And if you really watch closely, you will notice that downswing begins from the right instep. for a righty, left instep for a lefty, back, okay, trailing back foot. And then that starts to give you a push power off the ground, and then that turns your hips, and then comes shoulders, elbows, hands, golf club. So there's an order of movement, and it's in every sport, and golfers violate it. They stand there, all they see is their arms, they have no sense, they're not taught that there's footwork in golf and hip work. They're not taught the connections through the body, kinetic chain of events. And then they just try to use that misunderstood power, which our friend was trying, which is swing hard and fast. The minute he let go of that, and for him, it was like a good swing thought was swing half speed, a speed that feels half of what you're doing. His half speed swing, as you recall, was the correct tempo.
Right, and far superior results.
Far superior, yeah. He also learned today, I call it my Buddhist rule of golf.
Yeah, talk about your Buddhist rule of golf.
I stay down. I usually make people repeat after me. I stay down.
I stay down.
Ball go up.
Ball go up.
I come up.
I come up.
Ball stay down.
Ball stays down.
Boy, did that happen for him today, right?
It really
and when
did.
he slowed his swing down and started to use the body, because he wasn't just forcing it with his arms, and quote unquote, keep your head down, right? Ball started going up, and it was beautiful.
Yeah. And he wants me to teach him, and I won't. I'll make suggestions about, how to play a course, but I'm not going to give him mechanics instructions. But I did make a comment that I overstepped my bounds by saying, don't try to swing hard, try to swing fast. And you said, you kind of put the reins on that one.
I have trouble with the word fast. I also have trouble with the word accelerate. Because people accelerate, they start going fast.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to decelerate, right? But here's how I frame this. Rather than telling people to accelerate, which is another word for saying go faster, because then they go fast and then they start jumping out of their shoes and they start swinging hard and fast. And it's the tempo, right? I was telling you that I'm Jewish. I'm Jewish and I teach the rhythm method. It's about the timing, tempo, rhythm, not the other stuff. So instead of talking about acceleration, and goes back to centered and balance, I talk about this. Every good shot should add up to 100.
Oh, go ahead, keep going.
So 100 is a nice round, even number.
Yeah.
Okay? So you go 50% back, 50% through, right? That would be even, back and through. Now, a lot of people go like 80 back and 90 through. That's 170. Or they'll go, 70 or 80 back, and then inside they're going, oh no, uh-oh. And then they decelerate. They go slow, and then they have like 10 or 20 or 30% through. Maybe they'll go 80% back, 40% through. That's 120. So already we're off and we're out of ratio. Okay? It's a good question to ask yourself, what did I do on that swing? Did I have a really big backswing and I got scared inside and then I slowed down, or did I hardly take it back and then I go wham and I really tried to speed up and hit it harder on the way through? It's not even 100. So 50-50, but here's the way I teach acceleration. How about 48-52? 45 back, 50 through.
Okay.
Yeah? And actually tour tempo swings, which has been measured by the guys who started tour tempo years ago.
John Novosel.
Okay, there you have it,
So
yeah?
I'll bring that up because he's in my head every swing.
Good. And he's got a ratio, right, back and through, and there's a built-in acceleration, shall we say, yeah? You take it back and then you go, boom. You want to release it and let it come through. But it's not about going faster. So acceleration, yeah, you are accelerating. It's just that tells people to go fast. The minute you tell someone to go fast, they go fast. They lose their balance. They lose their tempo. That's, to me, it's not been a helpful word.
Yeah.
Okay, I think about it more in ratio. And also, did that swing add up to 100? Yeah, it did. I went back and then I went boom, through. And it's a little bit more on the follow-through
It's a great idea. It's really easy to... Now, once you explained it, it's like, oh, that makes total sense. Every good shot should add up to 100.
Same with a putt, take it back, come through.
Yep.
Right? And they're matched up. They should be matched up with a little bit more on the downswing effect follow-through side.
Right.
So now you automatically have acceleration without having gone fast, which sucks you into this false idea of power.
Right. All right, let's take another time out, and hopefully we'll get another section in before the batteries die again. I think we're doing okay with these batteries, but let's take a time out, and we'll be right back. This week on Golf Smarter Mulligans, episode 137, is part 2 of our mid-2010 conversation with Jeff Ritter that was originally a members-only episode, so it's never been shared publicly before. In addition to getting more great instructional nuggets from his wonderful little book, Your Kid Ate a Divot, we learn how our attitude on the golf course can impact our scores.
Your day doesn't determine your attitude. Your attitude determines your day. And imagine if you woke up in the morning and you drive to work, and the first phone call you make, the vendor on the other end of the line says, I'm sorry, we're not going to go with you. As we originally planned, we decided to go with somebody else. What are you going to do? Throw your hands up and go, oh, no, not today. Today isn't my day. Well, heck, you got 7 more hours at work. I mean, if you already start off feeling the defeatist mentality, I guarantee you the rest of the day is not going to go very well either. And that's why golf is this great metaphor for life, because it gives you the opportunity to have a plan, to try your best, and see how well you deal with not getting what you want. The people that are able to handle themselves well on the golf course, I guarantee you they handle themselves pretty well in other areas of life as well.
That's episode 137, featuring Jeff Ritter on Golf Smarter Mulligans, which is being released this Friday. The Golf Smarter Mulligans podcasts are the early episodes of Golf Smarter that are no longer available on any podcast app, but still offer relevant information to all golfers today. Based on your demand, we now give you 2 episodes of Golf Smarter each week. Please write a review, subscribe, and follow both of our golf podcasts so that you can download or stream the brand new episode when it becomes available on your favorite listening device. You've mentioned a couple times tempo and rhythm. And we talked about tour tempo a second ago, John Novosel. When I first had him on years and years ago, he had this little product. This was before iPhones and stuff, so there was no apps. We weren't in the app culture. And he had this little unit that did the 3 to 1
ratio.
3 to 1 ratio. And so I, being a former drummer, I got that rhythm in my head and I locked it in. And so before every shot, I'm just like bump, 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 and I get this rhythm going. And you may even notice that I tap my club before on my drives. I'll tap my club, just try to get that rhythm, and that's made a big difference in my game, is trying to maintain that rhythm. Tour tempo, John Novosel.
It shows up in your swing.
Thank you.
And there's a smoothness that comes with it. So now your swing is smooth, and it's in ratio, and it's in
tempo versus rhythm? Or are they this? How do you find them, and are they different?
That's a good question. I'm semantically, it's going to be hard for me to answer it. Mm-hmm. I think tempo is about a consistency, yeah, and there's a beat to things. Mm-hmm. And the beat also means, like, for example, you take it back, there's just a little beat, a little moment there, right? Mm-hmm. And then comes
pausing at the top of the backswing.
Yeah, a tiny pause.
Right? Yeah, right.
But there's just a little breather there, and your body has a little chance to make it move forward, okay? Or for that back knee to kick in, for example. But there's a tempo, there's like a consistency. Rhythm, to me, they're interrelated, but rhythm comes out of sequencing, a proper sequence.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're not going to have rhythm. So, for example, if you take it away and you're thinking about your shoulder turn and your hands, there's no rhythm there. Rhythm is kind of in your feet, it's in your body, and it's in sequencing. So if you start from the feet, and then your hips turn, and now the shoulders and the hands turn, and feet started down, hips, okay? Now there's a rhythm, and there's a synchronization of the lower and the upper body. So all that's in the rhythm. Tempo is like dum ba bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're interrelated. Rhythm and sequencing is going to give you tempo.
Okay, that makes sense. That's good. That's good. Another thing we talked about on the course, I brought it up that I have a pair of shoes from Squares, and Nick Faldo's supporting it, and he's all over it now. And the reason I'm still breaking them in And this is a long walk, this course. This is over 6 miles today, 6.2 miles. So we got our steps in.
Yes.
But the first time I wore them was on this course, and my feet were killing me for days. But I've broken them in, and it's much better now. And I do like these. Are you familiar with them? And what do you understand? Because you've heard Faldo talk about it.
Right. So I haven't had them on my feet.
Right.
So full disclosure, till they're on my feet and I try them.
Right.
I can't really speak well, but I will tell you some interesting things. I mentioned to you today about the sacred geometry of golf. So we'll mention this a little bit, but that's a really great topic. Square. There's three main shapes in nature. One is a circle, a triangle, and a square.
Right.
And they also have their three dimensionalities, right? A cube and a sphere and all that. Okay, so those three main shapes, and in fact, the founder of Aikido, the martial art that I practice, who was a very mystical man as well as the greatest martial artist in Japan, was very into circle, square, and triangle because their forms determine how energy can flow and move. So, squares. Squares are stable. They're very strong and stable and aligned. Those are the two real big properties of squares. And so, for example, we want to make square contact. The club face has to square up at impact.
Wow.
Yeah?
Right.
Okay? And what's so hard about golf? We're on this big circle, and it's 360 degree, we're on this big arc, yeah?
Right.
So we're on a big circle, and going like 60, 80, 100 miles an hour or more, we have to have, at that 1 degree, right where the ball is, the club face, on that circle, it has to square up and then keep going through on a circle.
Right.
That's what's so tough about things. Now, squares are stable. If you stand really square, like your feet are straight, and you can't get from a circle from a square. Think about it. You're in a square. It doesn't lend itself to a circle.
Right.
However, triangle is the mediating shape.
Oh.
And a tripod gives stability to a camera.
Right.
So you can get stability in a triangle, and it also allows for circles, like a spinning top.
Right.
Or an ice cream cone is a triangle, and it's got a circle where you put or a teepee is the upside down, right?
Yeah.
So you have a triangle, and then you have a circular floor.
Oh, okay.
Very different than squares, yeah?
Yeah.
So the mediating shape is a triangle. First thing I look at in a golfer is how are their feet placed. And if they're completely straight, that means the hips are locked and they don't turn. And they're going to have a hard time turning their body, and they're probably going to use their arms in their swing.
Right.
However, toes out a little bit. There's a few details on that. Toes out a little, knees in a little towards the golf club. Puts your weight on your insteps. Now you have triangle, and you have vectors, and you put that little push, boom, you're into a circle. Little push, you're into a circle. So, but putting, square, square, square. It's all perpendicular, line, perpendicular, perpendicular. A lot of times you'll see people have their feet, they're not paying much attention to their feet, and they're turned out or whatever, and then they're moving, they're swaying, they're moving their bodies a little bit, and you don't want that. You want complete stillness and alignment. So feet should be straight. Arnie and Jack actually turned their feet in to lock their body in, so their body couldn't move. Yeah, but you need your toes turned out a little bit on the full swing, and especially big driver swing, so you can turn, and that's going to take pressure off your back.
Yes.
And you're gonna. So it's interesting to pay attention to these shapes, and they make a big difference in the golf.
I want to take pressure off these batteries because I have a feeling they're going to die here. So, so you're going to have to come back again.
I guess so.
but we're going to get you back. But it was so great playing with you again today.
It was really fun, and I was so impressed.
Oh,
to all your
you.
audience, everybody, you got to know, come play golf with Fred Green. I wish you could have played with him before. Really, you're transformed, and it's a joy. It's
so
great
sweet.
to see.
I really appreciate it. It was great spending the day with you again, and I look forward to.
You didn't tell I beat you a little bit.
What?
Didn't I still beat you, even though you're so great?
Oh, yeah, you. Of course you beat me. No. But we both shot in the 70s.
Yeah, we did. We played well.
Yeah, and you
did well.
You played from the front tees. Come on.
Oh.
So what happened at the end there was I was giving Jamie a tough time about playing from the front tees, and I was playing from the whites, and then a fresh set of batteries died. She did shoot a 75 on a course that she's never seen, and I shot 79. Foxtail North has been a real challenge for me for years, but I played well on this round. Now, our playing partner, the beginner we were discussing earlier, only played 9 holes. He only plays 9 holes, and the 2 of them played the red tees, but she did come back to the white tees for the back 9 with me, except for the last 2 holes. Now, crazy thing about our playing partner, he and Jamie were friends as teenagers as they were on the national board of a youth group, but they lost touch after high school. She was in Michigan, he was in California. Now, Jamie's brother is Mark Leno, a high-profile political figure in San Francisco. And a few years ago, this friend and I were with our wives at a fundraising event, and both Mark and Jamie were there. I was really happy to see Jamie, and I tried to introduce her to my friend, not knowing that they'd known each other previously. They hadn't communicated in decades, and through Golf Smarter, I was able to reconnect them. And now we're playing golf together as a group. It was pretty awesome. I want to thank Paul Tarvados for today's show opening. Paul's been listening and emailing with me regularly since the earliest days of the podcast, which is about to start our 17th full year. Now it's your turn to introduce an episode. If you'd like to be eligible to win a box of Golf Smarter balls, please click on the Hey Fred button at GolfSmarter.com or go to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter and DM at Golf Smarter and let me know that you want to be on the show. I'll assign you an episode number, then you call our toll-free Golf Smarter listener line to record your show open. For every 10 golfers who participate, we'll have a drawing for the exclusive Golf Smarter branded golf balls. Your chances of winning are tremendous as there's only going to be 10 names in each drawing. So again, DM me at Golf Smarter on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or click on the Hey Fred button at GolfSmarter.com, and you'll be eligible to win. Golf Smarter and Golf Smarter Mulligans are your weekly podcast for caddies. I can't carry your bag, but each week I will do my best to provide you with helpful tips to lower your scores or information that will raise your golf IQ. And like caddies and for caddies, we accept tips for the services we provide. If every golfer who listens regularly offers a small amount each month, we'll be able to continue providing you with our fun and informative programs for a long time to come. The tip jar is open. Just click on Donate when you go to GolfSmarter.com. Thank you so much. And lastly, let's get a taste of what's happening last week on the newest podcast we create here at Smarter Podcasts, All the F Words, with Gabby Moskowitz and my wife, Joanne Green. All the F Words features 2 women who are writers and friends, yet they're 30 years apart in age. Each week they pick a word that begins with the letter F and then offer their unique perspectives from a millennial and a boomer. That's All the F Words, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Here's a promo from last week's show.
Joanne, ever since I started having kids, remembering anything, it feels impossible.
Gabby, I feel your pain. At my age, getting lucky is remembering why I walked into the room.
Well, this week on All the F Words, our F word is going to be forgetting.
Seriously, you forgot?
For a second, just for a second.
All the F Words can be found wherever you get your podcasts, and we hope you will follow us. Oh, shit.
On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at
All the F Words Pod.
There you go.
We do have a memory.